Off from the hills, you spot a spear that hurtles into, blah, blah, blah. And then, obviously the heartbeat kind of sound. And then you're in a battle, right? Like the, oh shit, okay, we're in battle now. Like, let's fucking go, dude! Let's fight! What's up, everybody? This is Mushu. I'm going to be recording some songs that I had wrote/prepared for a live playing of a D&D session. So I was kind of the DJ in the background, but I wanted to have songs that would be adaptable. Well, the D&D session that I prepped this for was run yesterday and went pretty well. I was really surprised. And this is really my first time composing music, but also using Logic and some of the plugins. So I'll walk through some of that stuff as we go here. But the main goal is to get these songs into a form that's about anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes of like something that I can throw into SoundCloud so that people can check it out. And also just to kind of save so that as I keep writing, I can look back and just see how janky it was in the beginning. But I'll actually, let me just go ahead and show off a little bit here of what I'm actually using. So this program you're seeing is on a Mac. It's Logic Pro. And what was really cool is that this plugin here, which I'll show a window of, these are actually recordings of the BBC Symphony Orchestra by Spitfire Audio. I'll put a link of that into the description of this. And they just give you all these different sections of the orchestra. And let me pick a one that is not tied to anything so that I don't mess anything up here. Okay, cool. We'll make a new one here briefly. We can check it out. So, you can play your keyboard. I have a MIDI keyboard out of view. And so you can hear the contrast between, you can kind of tell it's not quite real when it's just playing by itself. But you have a lot of different kinds of sounds. But what you can do is you can adjust things like the dynamics and the expression. And when you mix it just right and get the levels just right, you can actually make it sound pretty real. And I've been really, really blown away at just how good it sounds. And so, of course, you have many different sections here too. You can have your piccolo. Where is it? I'm too low here, I think. You can tell I'm playing it live. You have your trumpets. Move the keyboard over, you can see what I'm playing. There's obviously a range. You can see from here to here, that's all you can play. Of course, because that's the range of the instrument. Of course, the tuba. Tuba 11 chat. Sorry if that blew out your eardrums. It's actually pretty loud. Okay, cool. Let's just, so what I just did was I prepped different sections based on where they're going to be and what I wanted to sound like. And I can just, what's really cool about this is normally in your music program, you're going to have like a live track that just keeps going on and on and on. But instead I'm using an area called live loops. And so it allows this section, me to just build sections and it'll just keep looping over and over and over again, which is great because as the session happens, I can kind of adjust the way the music goes depending on how quickly they're going, or maybe if I want to try to emphasize like as different people are talking, it kind of marks like moving into different areas or just trying to keep it interesting instead of just having the same thing looped, even if it's like a 10-minute loop or whatever. So yeah, the goal is I want to write out these sections to be longer and of course more of them if I have more time and I get more used to just composing. And yeah, let's just go ahead and record. Now this is written for their opening area. It's supposed to be like a peaceful area called Savarine. Let's do it. So as we go here, I'm recording them separately. So I should be able to like kind of talk through the commentary as we go. Let me actually... I'm gonna do this. Okay. So next I want to add on the cello pits. Pizzicato. Alright, just kind of nice and... What is my tempo's at 100? That might be a little slow, but that's fine here. So this might go for a little bit. I actually do want to keep this like a relatively brief section here, so we'll just add everything here. You see how it just really nicely loops into the next section because it's just going to bring it in whatever the next measure is. And I've prepped all these different things prior. You can see this is the MIDI here of like, this is that piccolo phrase. So now we're getting to the main theme. So I just time it out, right? I build these sections ahead of time, then I can just play it live. So we'll let this repeat twice. And this is the second time around. So normally, like, if I'm in the session itself, I can go back to one of these earlier ones, but I do want to keep it moving along. So this is like a kind of like an interlude, right? Like, so this was about when somebody else was approaching, or like a new person was being introduced, just to mix it up. And then there's a bit of a bassoon, and you have to watch for this. So I add this harp part. You can see the glissando will happen into this next portion, and then it kind of marks the arrival, right? So in that section, I know that I either have to mute the harp sound so it doesn't like do that and then there's nothing that changes, or if I'm ready to move on, we can just let it play like that. So I don't know, I was just trying to really go for like kind of video game feel tunes, or just like melodies that at least they just the ones that just will get stuck in my head, and just kind of build on that a little bit. So I mean, I can't tell you why I named these certain ways. We'll move on here. So it's obviously we're winding down a bit. You see how just simple some of this stuff is. Really just trying to keep it simple. And so then there's the theme that keeps coming about, but I don't think I have it here. Let's move on to the next section. Right? So everything's been like really peaceful so far. And so here's like a very typical march kind of theme. And there's the horns, you'll hear that a lot. Right? Kind of like the call of adventure. So I'll just try to find a nice stopping point here eventually. We're about 3 minutes, 30 seconds. It's pretty good. This feels like a good place to stop. Nice, we'll stop the recording there. There's Savarine. We have it done. So, I don't know. This is, like I said, I've not really done recording prior. And composing before, and this has just been such a fun process. I'm listening back to the recording now to see if it's at a good volume. It's actually pretty quiet. What can I do here? All right, well, we'll just record all of them first, and then I think it should be fine to add audio gain later. All right, let's keep going. Save that project. The next area is kind of when they would go into this exploring mode. Okay, here we go. All right, we'll record the next section here. Let's save the recording. D&D session 1. All right, so I know I'm at 120 BPM. It's pretty lively, right? We want all the adventure feels. So we'll hop right into the next part. We're slowly building here. Here when it all comes together, it really does come alive. Oh, I haven't been running the silver verb. Do I wonder about that? You know, let's start the recording again because I wasn't running that. So basically, this is like an overall kind of reverb that'll be happening. Okay. So it'll apply over everything and hopefully just kind of bring it all together. The gain looks a little bit low over there. All right. Oops. And so normally it would just go right on the next measure. So you have to click within the last measure of that section. All right, so here's a big theme on the tuba. You can see a bit what the melody looks like. So we'll let the theme go twice here. See, normally I can go back to an earlier section, like back to the intro if we want to extend this a little bit. But for this purpose, we will keep going through. And this is just kind of the theme that I have for wrapping up this melody. It almost felt like when I was writing it, it's like a little too campy, like a little too like, oh, adventure, you know? But I don't know. I just ran with it. And so what I found is what I really wanted to see, because I knew I wouldn't know how long we would stay in a certain area or what would feel right. It definitely got to a point where I wish I did like kind of like double, like I had double the music prepped for these different kinds of variations and sections. I don't know how monotonous it felt for them, but for me, it was just, my goal was to try to keep it as entertaining as possible. So I'll play one of the open vamps so you can hear just, right? I really wanted to open it up. Similar kind of variation. I mean, there's like all these different little things that are happening, and we're just trying to open it up so it doesn't feel too monotonous. So we'll let it go one more time, and then we'll get to the melody. Oh, we're only at 2 minutes here. Yeah, I just feel like there's so much more that I could develop. Right, so we're back to the melody, but now on these plucked strings instead. So we'll let that repeat twice. And you think about like the second time it comes around, maybe I can add something to it as well in the future. But you can see how like it's pretty easy for me to just click around these different sections and change up the feel and keep it interesting. So I'll actually let this go twice. And you'll hear what I can do on the second time. Hope this works. The bassoon sounds really good on this pack, I think. In like this particular octave especially. So we can slow it down. Stop it before it. Still has the reverb. Cool. Oh wow. Okay, so that came out pretty much the same exact length as my other one. That was like 330. That's awesome. That's actually really weird and interesting. Like exactly the same length as the other one. It's really strange. Okay. So as we kind of progressed through, then there was the part of the campaign. Obviously, they took a job. And then, oh, this is something else I can show while we're loading up here, is that I knew about the prep from my DM, those Kenobi casts, and so he gave me some notes about how how things were generally going to go and what were some of the key points, especially like perception rolls and whatnot. And there was one part where they were to, if they rolled high enough on perception, I believe, they saw something that was like, they saw claw marks on a tree. Right, so this is something that you could play like, and during that part when he's describing it, I can have it. You know, so it's just something to a little soundboard action, and that was kind of fun. Again, the audio levels I think were a bit of a challenge to see how to make it so that they can hear everything, but also not be too freaked out. Okay, cool. So this next part, let's go ahead and record it in one shot. But they are really two themes. Actually, no. Let's we'll stop it in the middle, but then I'll perform it through. Actually, no. Let's perform it through, and then I'll just cut the song later. Okay, cool. So see, I put these notes here at the beginning of the section. I know what I want the BPM to be. So the idea of this is the early part of them entering this area. It's called Howling Hills, but there's nothing to show you or to make you feel scared of anything. That makes sense. So this one I definitely didn't get to prep as much as I'd like. You'll see there's not too much to this section here. But you can see it's a lot more neutral of a sound. I didn't want it to be like too happy. Even though it does, I don't know, it does get a little sing-songy later. Okay, I forgot about this. So this part, the way I structure this out is I have this harp into the next section, but it happens 2 bars in. Sorry, two phrases in. Where do I see it? Okay, right here. See the harp all the way at the end? So I'll go right into this next part. Right, so I'm especially watching out for if I have a section in here that like leads into an instrument here that leads into the next section, I just need to be ready to switch it. All right, so I'm gonna bring this into the next section here because I add like one more instrument. So now you hear how smooth that transition is. So ideally this is just really seamless for everyone that's playing. With those horns again. See, these violins by themselves, I don't know, it sounded okay. So then I add a counter melody here. So we'll go back to this intro part. So you can kind of see how we can just go back and forth. I think this is about good. I don't want to stretch this out too long. We'll go right into the variation 2 here. I think the only thing I really add here is the bassoon. Right. All right. So this next part was super fun. So this is the part where I knew that at this moment they were supposed to roll a perception check because they're supposed to see if they actually notice something happen. So as he's telling the story, the whole deal is supposed to be that if they notice, if they roll high enough, they will notice a spear fly out of the forest and then hit the person who paid them to go on the journey. All right. And so finally, when we're fighting the battle, we would jump in. I was supposed to speed it up prior to that. All right. So we'll go back here to this. Yeah, so during this section, you see what I was supposed to do is, and I did this successfully, fortunately, during the actual session. I wanted to speed up 120 BPM, and then finally we're in. So I don't know why, but this one, I feel, I really like the exploration theme, but this one for me, I was really pleasantly surprised with how this came out too. I'm a little worried about how much I'm using this like the spiccato of the strings. Right? Like, so you can see how I can bounce back and forth from these sections pretty easily. And also the horns, like I think this string theme I was a little worried about. Yeah, the strings and the horns, like, am I using them too much? I definitely want to have some more variety of different themes and motifs, but I can totally see how there's so many cool tools that you can have in like the storytelling, especially when it's the background music, right? So now here's a new section. I really wanted a long section here to kind of like give a slightly lower energy point, but still have just as much of like the ooh of a fight, right? So you can see the melody here for the bassoon. And the viola. So for here, I will go right to variation 2. The percussion sounds so good on this too. This is definitely, admittedly, very Pirates of the Caribbean. We had another. These strings sound a little lazy, but I don't know. I wanted them to be a bit more present, but not too overpowering. We'll go back to the theme. Oh, interesting. So I had see, that's one spot that can be tough. One thing that can happen is it when I have something like this, you see how it's 8 measures in, so it's supposed to play on like the second time that I bring that around. And if I'm going to another section, it'll like get cut off, like you just heard it do. All right, so how we want to end this? Let's go back to the variation 2. This feels like the best ending, I think. It's gonna be kind of abrupt. We'll go back to this, I think. I hate how it gets cut off. I guess I was supposed to let it repeat twice. I don't know. All right, and then I have this. All right, I'm actually gonna do that again because I need to let it go a little longer. There we go. Hey, all right, cool. That one was fun. That one was super fun. Let's bring that all the way back. All right, cool. Quick test here. Cool. That captured fine. Okay, great. So now, see, what did I have next? Okay, I had some fanfare. We'll record that. It's not much though. So this next part was, what ended up happening is that I completely missed that we went into this hills area. So I had the exploration theme, which worked out a lot because after the fight, I went back to like that tranquil stuff in the beginning of this here. And then let's just get this. This is something that I use just kind of, again, just more like as a, yeah, they're delivering a shipment to a fort. And so this is kind of their first arrival at the fort. Just really simple. We'll do that. We'll let that full repeat again here. And then I just had a trumpet over the top of this. I don't know. It feels... I don't know how I feel about this still. See, there's just 2 sections here. I think this is something I wanted to build out a bit more, but I just ran out of time. So this could be definitely just used as an entrance for somebody. All right, cool. So we got that. All right, so is that it? That might be it. Oh no, we had one more. I love all this. It's just gonna work. Explore. Let's go. Yeah. Because at the end of this, I have a section that's kind of used for yeah, it's a little intro. Yeah, this is actually a scene. If the explore scene went right into the fight, then I was gonna have this be the lead in. But this is something that I am probably gonna build on for the next fight that they have upcoming. Okay, we'll play it. So tempo should be up at, I think, 115. Let's do 115 here. Let's go. Similar kind of fanfare feel. Let's build this a little slower. So I'm just going to add these two sections so I can just hit play directly on it. You can see the little progress meter on them, how they come around. So I can see where in the loop is it. All right, and since I want the timpani in there now for the next section, I'm just going to hit this arrow. Let's just get into the section. And I forgot I actually had that string lead in too. I actually wasn't sure if it was going to play there. I forgot where exactly it was. But you see how I have to put that string lead in at the end of the phrase? See, there's the... Oh, wait, you can see it. Yeah, so I'll let the section play twice. Oh, no, wait. I mean, it's the same thing as what we heard earlier from the Explorer section, but it's obviously in minor and, of course, going to be tweaked a bit. And that counter melody was super fun. I don't know, I love having that. See, I was kind of like battling melodies. I forgot I was actually recording this, which is good. Let's slow it down a little bit. Hey, okay. Cool. I think since I have... So I have those are all the little snippets that I had from this session. I think all in all, probably have about like 15 minutes of stuff that doesn't repeat too much, right? It just like plays like a song, but you can see how I can just repeat between these different sections. So I obviously want to have more variations within each of these themes, and I don't know if in the future I want to have them all in one project so I don't have to keep doing this. I do want to play a little bit of another idea that I had. This is originally going to be in the woods, but then it was a little bit too sinister, so I'll use it in the future for something. I'll just play it. This was I actually really enjoyed this. But again, still like kind of Hans Zimmer-y strings. I think this is like if they ever meet a witch or something, or if they're like captured. I don't know. It does really feel Pirates of the Caribbean though. I'm gonna show the where's the bassoon melody? Here it is. This is fun. I don't know, I really like this. What do I have here? Let's see. Is this anything? Oh no, I don't think I built more. Yeah, I think I was gonna think about what would be like the next variation of it. I think you can picture like some like dancing violin line. I don't know if I'll try to hum it out. Right, kind of like dances around. I don't know. I just like triplets for some reason. Okay, what else is there? Explore fort fight. Fort fight. I think that was me starting to build for the next thing. Is this gonna work? What is this? What is this? Nope. I think I was playing around with some melodies there. Yeah, that should be it. That should be it. Well, if y'all watch this all the way through, thanks so much for staying with it all the way. Definitely under no illusions that I'm particularly good at composing, but this has been such a fun process that I want to do it more. I think as what was fun was just trying to find some melody that I can build around, and maybe starting. I think the way that it tended to go, was like thinking about what did I want the feel to be of the song, and this is probably I'm most proud of this one. Most pleasantly surprised by the fight theme, but this one just felt super addictive. I just remember when I first started when this started coming together, I was just like, holy moly, like what? Like I can actually make something like this. So where this started, really, I think I have like voice memos of it, but I'm pretty sure I thought of this melody first. Just trying a bunch of different things. Oops, it's got a little desynced there in the phrase. But I'll take the other stuff away. Yeah, it's desynced again, but you can still hear how it's like, it's really simple, but rhythmically, like the way that the rhythm and the melody plays together makes it like, it got stuck in my head. And then because of that, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to keep going with this. And I think when I'm thinking about a melody, naturally I'll think about the stuff that surrounds it. So that's why this kind of, this march feel felt really natural to be part of that. And then of course, like violins, adding to that. And then I remember as I was coming together with like as the phrase progressed, what were the chords going to be? And I think that was a super satisfying part. Especially just things like having this horn add in, you know, right? Was just really satisfying as it came together. Yeah, I just want to get to the end theme because it just felt like this was just such a nice, tidy way to like wrap up this melody. And so I was like, okay, this is enough for me to where I can just do variations on this now for the remainder of the song. It almost reminds me of Totoro, actually. They're probably really close if you put them on top of each other. So yeah, I think like starting with a melody and then doing just variations on that. And you can hear the violins are pretty much the same thing, right? I'm just carrying over to the next section. I drop the cellos to lighten it up a bit. And then everything here is just these variations. So yeah, you've already heard it. But yeah, my goal is to keep composing more and to hopefully prep enough for the session to feel really like have a lot of color. And I think that moment where it transitions from like a calm part to the fight was something that like reminds me of like in a musical, you'd have a vamp, right? So you would have these moments where you can just let it sit, right? For as long as the acting needs to go. And I think that was where really the idea came from. And what was exciting me about thinking about, well, what if I made music for their campaign, right? Like this whole, like it's kind of nondescript, and then like you're like, okay, and you're obviously rolling perception checks, so it's like, what's going on here? And then finally, as you start to tell it, you can imagine, you know, off from the hills, you spot a spear that hurtles into, you know, blah blah blah, and then, you know, obviously the heartbeat kind of sound, and then you're in a battle, right? The goal was supposed to like make it really tense, and then the release of like the, oh shit, okay, we're in battle now, like let's fucking go, dude, let's fight. Like, that's what I wanted the feel to be. And I think having that, it really is a show, right? Like trying to match up with the notes that my DM has and how he wants those story points to be, and enhancing those, I think is just such a fun challenge, and to try to do that with music, which I've always really enjoyed, but never tried to even attempt anything close to this. So not that there's anything crazy, but yeah, hope you enjoyed that. If you liked it, let me know. I'm down to do more of these videos. At the very least, I want to get these audio tracks on a SoundCloud or something that people can use them. And who knows how far the composing journey will go. We'll see. We'll see what happens next. But thanks everyone for tuning in. And yeah, leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts and feedback, or if you see anything here, or you want me to write songs for your campaign. I'd spend more time doing this and just getting better at it in general. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.